The Mannin Line with Andy Wint.
Pastor Mai, good afternoon. Welcome to Mannin Line on Manx Radio. Open line through till 1 today. So on our public radio forum, whatever you want to say, your opinion on the air, call 66 1368. Text 166 177. WhatsApp on the same number as well. And you can email studio@manxradio.com. Lots of comment yesterday. We're looking for the finest toilet in the Isle of Man, and this isn't something that is not flippant. The fact is that public toilets really are something I think that it's fairly well accepted, that it's something we accept will be there, and really surely we expect the public toilet's going to be there. I can't believe there are no toilets at our main bus stop. Absolutely unbelievable. That collection of bus stops that we call the bus station, used to be the bus station. You remember Unsworth's newsagents and everything when it used to be there? Well, there is no public loo. The nearest one, of course, is in the sea terminal. And if you're waiting for a bus, do you really want to race to the sea terminal and come back? There is one at the back of the market hall, but I think you have to pay to get in that. So if there is no public loo at our main bus stop, what does that say about us? When we have guests, tourists who come to the Isle of Man who want to use our main bus station, so by all means get in touch and tell us where you think the best public loos are on the Isle of Man, and we are going to compile a league table of this. This isn't flippant. It's a right, a citizen's right to have public toilets. Oh, due to the adverse weather conditions, no airmail left the Isle of Man last night because of Agnes, and it hasn't connected with the Royal Mail delivery network. The weather's also affected the inbound mail, meaning no airmail was able to make it to the Isle of Man this morning. Therefore, priority items, including special delivery and Parcel Force 24, won't be delivered today. Manx to Manx and Sea Mail remains unaffected. And, of course, we're losing our mail plane shortly in October, but it is going to be coming by sea. So no more. Does that mean, can you put airmail stickers on stuff that you now send from the Isle of Man? I guess not, even though it will pick up airmail, certainly if it's going further afield later on. So you won't be able to get those airmail stickers from the post office. Messages also came in yesterday regarding lithium. We're talking about that fire that happened at the lithium battery, big lithium battery that set on fire at a power station in Australia. Lithium's highly volatile. It ignites on contact with water and has to be mixed with other metals, says text of 557. The gargoyles, these are the missing gargoyles from Park Road School. Who knows where they went? Where did these gargoyles go? On the old Castletown Road, says John. Is that where they are? The company that knocked down Park Road School removed the gargoyles. They're at the gatepost of this house on the old Castletown Road. Anybody got a photo? It'd be nice to see that, wouldn't it? What do you think about this story about the Heritage Railway on the Isle of Man? The Isle of Man Steam Railway supporters say housing developments at Ballasalla, Castletown and Port St Mary go against the current strategic plan, which states that the steam railway line should be protected. There's a consultation running asking for feedback as government works on a new strategic plan. The story, I mean, really it's about heritage railways going through modern estates. Chair of the association is Bill Cubban.
This is the blueprint for the island's planning going forward, probably the next 10, 15 years. And so it's really important that people pay attention to this. It's one of those things that doesn't sound terribly exciting, but it is important because if you value the look of the Isle of Man and the attractive lifestyle that we have here, then it's important that you don't go and build a major development in the wrong place. I'm not saying we shouldn't be developing the island, but the railway has 282 houses built at Ballasalla over the last year or two, and that's quite a thing. The tourists are going to see that. You wouldn't have a modern housing estate built next to Laxey Wheel, for instance. Really, we've got to be careful that the development is spread round the island and you don't end up with the tourists seeing estate after estate as they travel along.
And I suppose you could argue that currently the island is experiencing what's being called a housing crisis, and we need more homes. More homes need to be built. So do we have to be flexible here about where these homes are going to be built?
I understand that you definitely need to sort of have houses built. A lot of the houses that are built in the island are quite nicely tucked away, really. They're in places off the main road in Crosby, for instance, or Glenvine or something. They're not obvious to the normal tourist travelling along the main thoroughfares. And that's important that the housing is spread out. I don't think the strategic plan has protected the railway enough. And it's one of the things where people need to get involved in this consultation that's going on.
How are you feeling about the future of the Island Steam Railway?
Well, of course, the government is also reviewing the railways at the current time as well. And that is a concern because we don't know which direction that's going in. The railways are really important to the tourist trade at the moment. And so it's important to look after your heritage and look at the reasons why that was important then, because tourism and the spend that tourists make on the island is important today, and we really need to make sure we keep that.
That's Bill Cubban talking to Amy Griffiths from Manx Radio News. That strategic plan closes on Friday. If you want to add to it, go to manxradio.com, click on our news pages, and there's a link through to the consultation asking for feedback. It actually closes 5 o'clock tomorrow, so if you want to get an entry into that feedback, go to manxradio.com, click on news and click on the consultation asking about feedback. The Isle of Man Steam Railway Supporters Association says that new development impacts the view from the passing trains. There is another side to that, of course. If people are buying swish new houses in Ballasalla, and there will be, 600 of the darn things, at least they'll get a steam railway going through that. So will that add to the value of a house, having a heritage railway zooming through? There is that side to it. It may be that the counterpoint of a steam railway going through a modern housing estate could be seen to be adding to it. I just wonder what you think. Although you wouldn't put any washing out, would you, if you were on a piece of land next to the railway line, just in case. Juliet's on now. Juliet. Hi, Juliet.
Hello.
You've spotted the gargoyles, I take it.
The gargoyles on the old Castletown Road came from Finch Hill Church, which used to be in Douglas on Bucks Road. It was demolished and it was turned into offices. And the gargoyles, there were replicas made of those, and you can see them in people's gardens.
Right. So they're not from Park Road School then? These
No.
are Finch. Oh, I see.
They're from Finch Hill Church.
You haven't got a pair, have you?
No. But I do remember watching Finch Hill Church. It was on fire. And I remember as a child seeing that.
And that's where the gargoyles are?
Yes.
Well, we could make a tourist thing. We could be making replicas. So people made replicas, is that right?
Well, the firm that... there was a firm made them. I don't know who, but there were replicas made of it.
Well, we've got to track some of these down. All right. That's great, all right. Juliet. Thanks for calling today.
Okay, bye.
Good to hear from you. The replica gargoyles from Finch Hill Church. And Julian's on. Hi, Julian.
Hi, Andy. I might suggest, actually, the Villa Marina arcade toilet's probably the most grand. That Victorian porcelain in there is quite magnificent. I'm sure you've ventured in there at some point.
I was there, actually, last Saturday lunchtime. I had brunch down there, and they are still... I'm so glad that they kept those loos as well. It's for for anybody who doesn't remember what public toilets used to be like, they are really a cathedral to public relief.
There is. And actually, they're slightly echoed to a smaller scale at the Port St Mary facility opposite the Albert. Kind of similar in there as well. Same sort of thing.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll put that one down then.
By the way, if there's no more airmail, whenever I try to post anything by air rather than surface, it's always multiple times more expensive. Can we assume then that the saving will be resulting in cheaper stamps then?
And also, when you send stuff by airmail at the moment, you have to declare, that it's safe to go by airmail. And as we're not sending it by airmail, I wonder if they're going to be saving on stickers.
Yeah, actually, it brings me to my next subject, because if you try on Amazon to order a lithium-ion power bank, they won't send it here because IATA have banned anything like that by being sent by air.
So we should be okay from now on then?
Well, yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you? Just a comment or two. Somebody messaged in yesterday about a fire at a Japanese power station this year.
Yes.
And that was a small fire on July 3rd near a steam valve, which was extinguished within an hour, according to the Tokyo Electric Power Company in Chiba Prefecture. And the entire facility was up and running shortly after. But meanwhile, the fire I mentioned yesterday at the Big Bessie battery facility in Australia continues to burn after 49 hours, according to ABC News about an hour ago. But this fire follows on from the Geelong battery facility, Geelong spelt Geelong. So if you look up Geelong battery fire in southeastern Australia, which burned for 4 days and required 150 firefighters to prevent it spreading to the rest of the battery facility. And they reported one of the problems with lithium-ion battery fires of this type is the emission of hydrogen fluoride within the black smoke, which penetrates the skin, which renders holding your breath a useless defense. And the other thing that they noticed with thermal cameras was that the extremely high fire temperature was measured at 2,760 degrees, which is hot enough not only to melt a wood-burning stove, but to boil the metal.
Well, of course, in Australia, lithium is, 10 cents a tonne because they're second only to... Is it? No, I think actually they do mine more than Chile. Chile is sitting on millions of tons of lithium, and Australia, I think, has got the mines more than anybody else. So it's unsurprising that Australia's got lots of lithium batteries.
Yeah, although I think the price has rocketed up since then, as far as I remember, because, of course, demand for these electric batteries for these vehicles has shot up. Of course, the downside of that is we're seeing in China fields and fields of brand new electric vehicles that are not wanted, which are just, I think I saw one, it must have been 1,000 cars just sat in a massive parking lot somewhere.
You wonder which way this is going to go, and obviously this is where politics meets the green agenda, it meets big business, and of course, as always, the public person on the street is left in the middle. So which way do you think it will go?
Well, this is the thing. You've got the infrastructure, and as June has correctly said many times, baseload. How are we going to support that kind of industrial power requirement for every house? You're talking about 4 or 5 ovens worth on for however many hours if they allow you on these new smart meters. I suppose it all depends where you're going to get all this extra power from to do that.
I got a message in from a lady called Ursula the other day, actually, which I've just found now, and Ursula said, I live in Bride, obviously a millionaire, so she's not, but how is the north of the Isle of Man going to cope with its infrastructure? Because if everybody had an electric vehicle charger, surely a lot of them have got overhead wires in the north. That surely the whole thing's got to be rewired in the north to cope with this.
That's interesting. It reminds me, actually, at the conference the other day, the transition lead presentation mentioned that they have a problem keeping electrical power up to the north of the island because of the distance, which makes you wonder about what I said about, losses down the copper cables. So if you've got, whether it's Erie Stane or it's up at Druidale, aren't you going to have the same problem? You know, if you're trying to pump energy from wind turbine 12 miles from Eriestane or whatever it is from Druidale, 14 miles, you're going to have the same issue, aren't you?
It's going to have to be a very big cable and a big junction box in the middle of countryside, surely.
Yeah, I should imagine that'll be humming at night. One of the things that I did recently was to drive about, if you put your radio on AM, you know, the old medium wave, and you just tune up the stations to go down to like 522 megahertz on the thing and just drive about, and you go on to where where you go past the substations, you sometimes go past, or where the wires all join on a pole, and you'll just hear this massive hiss go through going into the radio. You can hear it as you go past, and then it diminishes as you go away, and you think, I'm not sure if I want to live near that.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Julian.
Thanks, Andy. Cheers.
22 minutes past 12. Howard, hi.
Hello, Andy. Just listened to you yesterday talking about various aspects of the heritage, and you mentioned one which should be clearly looked after. It is the old tower where the original swing bridge used to be. And I have actually been in there and been up to the top of it, and it's a fascinating place. You couldn't have the general public walking in because there's a staircase goes from top to bottom. And I don't know now if the machinery is still in there, but if it isn't, that is sacrilege. Because that was put in and in 1800s. And it was a Newcastle company that put it in. And it is a fascinating piece of equipment. And that could be a bit like the Gaiety Theatre on tours, where you have a conducted tour. And I'm actually just on my way up to you at the studio. I'll just drop this in at reception. And it's the information all about that particular tower. I got it off the men that used to work in there, operating, well, it wasn't the huge swing bridge, that was 450 ton. The one that was put in after that was still using the same mechanism to operate the small pedestrian bridge. Now, I don't know that it should be still in situ under the road and out onto the pier edge, just either side of that lifting bridge. But knowing the government that we have, I know they said that the toll booths were going to be maintained on the Lord Street side, but it suited their purpose to knock them down. So whether they've removed any of the equipment that was in that building, it remains to be seen. But that is one that should be maintained and open to the public, because it is unique.
While we're in that area, Howard, off the top of your head, how many steps are there from the swing bridge to the top of those steps up onto Douglas Head Road?
99, because I used to walk up them every morning.
99?
Yes. My little legs really worn out.
You must have thighs like Thames tugboats. Okay.
Yes. Every morning I used to get off the bus down at the Lord Street bus station and walk up to there because I worked in a place just where the industrial place, the Magnet Joinery and whatnot. It was a joinery shop in there. And I used to walk up there every morning. But that, as I say, it should be with a preservation order put on it or some form of restriction, but that should not be tampered with inside, because a lot of that machinery inside, it's operated by water and it's brass. So it's unique. Okay. And I'll drop this envelope up to the reception for you.
Appreciate that.
You can never read.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Howard. Okay. Cheers now.
Take care. Bye.
All right. 26 minutes past 12. Dodsy's on. Hi, Dodsy.
Hello, mate. You all right? Hey, listeners. Just want to touch on one of your callers just about 5-10 minutes ago was talking about the Royal Mail plane being discontinued to the island.
Yeah.
Are people made aware that if they select the 24-hour or the next-day delivery option, that they're going to be getting ripped off or conned?
Well, there isn't a next-day delivery anymore, is there?
No, but if everything's going to be coming via sea mail, and inevitably it will be, then how can they do these 24-hour tracked parcels and whatnot and such like that? Because it won't be it'll be 24-hour tracked, but it won't be 24 hours for it to get to the Isle of Man. It'll be 48 hours plus. And I'm just wondering, are people going to be made aware that they won't be getting the next day delivery? They'll be getting, it'll be a day in advance. I mean, I work for a delivery company, but I mean, everyone that we deliver to is made aware that it's very rare that you get a next day delivery. And I think the only plane at the moment that's doing it is DHL.
Right.
But I'm just thinking from the post office perspective that, you're going to see people wanting to get their parcels or their letters next day, and they're going to have to pay I wouldn't say a premium for it, but they will have to pay a lot more than the normal letter mail.
Right, so did DHL bring a plane over here? Did DHL parcels come by air?
Some of them do, yes, and you get couriers on their plane. But I'm just saying from the Royal Mail perspective, that there's going to be a lot of confusion where people are wanting next day delivery and they're not going to get it. And then yes, you will have to use like the DHL or a courier company to send it, which there's no problem from where I'm sitting. But, it's one of those where there are people who's going to be getting rather annoyed that they're not getting their next day because of there'll be no airmail from the Royal Mail.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Dodgy.
Cheers.
28 minutes past 12. Yes, the Post Office, Isle of Man Post Office, says that the dedicated aircraft used to convey mail between the UK and the island ceases 16th of October this year. No more Isle of Man Post Office airmail. It won't affect, they say, the vast majority of island customers. A guaranteed next-day service for priority mail to the UK will be maintained for residential and business use, managed through a scheduled airline, so they'll have somebody kind of walking on board with it. Other mail items to and from the UK will be transported via ferry and road. Also, a new Tracked 48 product to the UK is going to be introduced. Tracked 48. This will be for commercial customers, offering tracking to the point of delivery and insurance cover up to £150. These changes kind of respond to some research that the Post Office did to ensure that it continues to provide products and services. So there will be a guaranteed next-day service for priority mail maintained for residential and business use, managed through one of the airlines, and this new Track 48 thing. In preparation, there's a new interim price guide. Oh, the new improved prices from the 16th of October, detailing fees for the new products, as well as a reduction in some tariffs for such as small parcels over 3 kilograms as well. So there it is, brand new prices, brand new products, and a brave new world. And Jed's with us now. Hi, Jed.
Hi, Andy. I'm just reflecting on that lovely piece about Mr. Cubban and the Heritage Railway alongside the housing estate.
Yeah.
I think he might have stumbled across the secret plan from our climate change people, our illustrious planners and government in general, because it could be that these housing estates have been strategically and cleverly placed alongside the railway line in order to reduce the commuter traffic going into Douglas, because I do believe that we've got is it like a £600,000 engine? Is it a cabbage that is unused?
Oh, yes, the Green Goddess.
Yeah, it could be utilised to, reduce the amount of road traffic and handily placed, if they perhaps had some stations installed for commuters to go into Douglas. Wouldn't that be something?
Well, that whole estate, I mean, it's a hop, skip and a jump away from Ballasalla Station as it is.
It is indeed. And when you travel on the A5, the Castletown to Douglas Road, if you go along at commuter times, you'll see that really 5 out of 6 cars are single use between 8 and 9 a.m. So there could be an opportunity there. But I'm sure our experts in travel and saving the earth and what have you. We'll have this all in hand, surely.
Well, they're probably just keeping it, behind closed doors. It'll all be revealed.
I'm convinced. So yeah, watch this space. I'm hopeful that this cabbage will be put to good use in our fantastic railway, because it does need helping out financially. There's no question about that. The tourists can't keep this thing afloat. So if we could have the general public and reducing the amount of traffic flow going into Douglas, in all seriousness, it would be a good thing, and it would be great to see.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Jed.
Thank you.
All right, good to hear from you. Also a message in from Bruce, who tells me that the top 4 lithium-producing countries in the world are, in 4th place, Argentina, 3rd place, China, 2nd place, Chile, and number 1 is Australia. So you can guarantee that if we are going down the EV route, Australia will become richer and richer. But he also points out that apparently Chile, Bolivia, and Argentina contain a region known as the Lithium Triangle. It's true. The Lithium Triangle, which it is believed contains over 75% of existing known lithium reserves. So Chile, Bolivia, and Argentina are sitting on an absolute fortune. Hi, Andy, says Emma. My car tax renewal has arrived, and you can now pay in 2 and 6 month instalments. Just thought I'd share it with you, so in case everybody knows if they weren't aware, 2 6-month instalments you can now pay for your car tax. Thank you, Emma.
This is an appeal on behalf of the Queen's Pier Restoration Trust. If you're a business owner looking to support a great local cause, then consider sponsoring or donating to the Queen's Pier Restoration Fund. Your support will help ensure that the historic Queen's Pier will remain as an important Manx landmark for future generations to come. To discuss corporate sponsorship opportunities and play your part in history, call Graham on 355 104. That's 355 104. This audio has been kindly sponsored by Paul Carey & Sons.
At EVF service stations, you can fuel yourself as well as your vehicle. Hot and cold food to go, chilled drinks, and even lottery tickets too. Great choice and value to make life more convenient. Fill up, fuel up with Ellen Vannin Fuels. Visit us at evf.co.im. Stocks and offers may vary between locations.
Are you concerned about your eye health? Holmes & Davidson Opticians in Douglas are proud to offer the Eidon Ultra-Wide Field Retinal Imaging and Heidelberg 4D OCT systems. State-of-the-art machines that allow early detection and management of eye diseases. Don't wait. Book your appointment today and ensure the health of your eyes with the best technology available. Call 676 230 or visit holmesanddavidsonopticians.co.uk now.
Book now for Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat at the Gaiety Theatre from October the 8th to the 14th. With a cast of local favourite stars, this feel-good, joyous musical is suitable for the whole family. Packed with fun, uplifting songs and dances, with hundreds of beautiful costumes, and many of the island's most talented trained children. Don't miss the Christine Wilde Theatre School and Rachel Wilde Performers Studios, Joseph at the Gaiety Theatre this October.
After another spell on their travels in the last 3 weeks, FC Isle of Man returned to the bowl this weekend with a big task against an old foe. On Saturday, the Ravens welcomed newly promoted and high-flying Wythenshawe FC in the NWCFL Premier Division, with the Island side hoping to improve their recent form. Join me, Rob Pritchard and Sam Palmer for FC Isle of Man vs Wythenshawe FC, taking place this Saturday at 6 p.m. Manx Radio will be providing full live match commentary on our DAB and AM 1368 channels. Live coverage of FC Isle of Man on Manx Radio is supported by Selton, investing in our community.
The Mannin Line with Andy Wint.
Good to have you along. Thanks for joining. 25 before 1 on Manx Radio. I'm also got to say hi to our many listeners right across the world. Mannin Line is listened to live right across the world online, but also it's listened to as a podcast, which lots of people listen to Mannin Line In fact, some people listen to 5 Mannin Lines all at once for 5 hours. Don't ask me how or why, but they do, just to get a flavour of the Isle of Man. So not only are you talking to the Isle of Man, you're talking to the world. I don't mean me, I mean you. So hi to everybody. I just looked at some of the places that have been tuned into Mannin Line over the past week or so. In Canberra, in Australia, Australian Capital Territory, Portlaoise in Ireland, Limerick in Ireland. Hi to everybody in Galway, in Meghalaya City in South Africa, in the Greater Bern area of Switzerland, in Delhi in India, Cairo in Egypt, Polokwane in South Africa, Ebbw in South Wales, Bruges, Podgorica in Montenegro. Hi to everybody in the Greater Tauranga area in New Zealand tuning in, and in Perth and Sydney, and Mysore in India. It goes on. It's amazing. In Ras Beirut in Lebanon. That Ras Beirut is not just any Beirut, it's very posh Beirut, I'm told. So hi, and thanks for tuning in today. There is a risk of coastal overtopping as Agnes continues, by the way. And Des is on now. Hi, Des.
Hi. Oh, Andy. It's about Douglas, and it's been given the title Douglas City, and yet we're nothing like a city, and the lack of toilets is a big problem, public toilets, that is, and also the lack of disabled toilets.
Okay, now where are the disabled-friendly toilets in Douglas?
I don't know.
Well, I think certainly the sea terminal has. I mean, the sea terminal loos are exemplary. They're very big, very accessible. So the sea terminal's got loos.
Yeah. So if you're in a wheelchair or a mobile scooter, you're going to make your way all the way over to the sea terminal.
Yeah, I'd say that's not much help if you're the other end of Strand Street, is it?
No, it isn't. That's what I'm getting at, really. There's no close proximity. I don't know if there's any new loos where matchings have opened up because they serve food and drink. And I thought they had legally to supply toilets and stuff like that.
What about, I mean, there are ramps up to the Villa Marina. Are they disabled-friendly in the villa?
Well, the old Victorian, of course, toilets aren't. They're all steps.
Yeah, but no, the ones inside Villa Marina itself, inside the villas, there's some on the ground floor there, but from memory, the doors aren't that wide.
No, they're not.
Okay, well, that's something that we have. Yeah, that's something that we have to look at, and certainly on the prom itself, I'm thinking there aren't any. I mean, there aren't any loos really from one end to the other.
No, there aren't. No, there used to be loos, but they were all down steps. If I remember rightly.
Okay, so all right,
little Switzerland shops, you know.
Yeah, this is well, all right. I'll ask you a personal question then, Des. What happens?
Yeah.
What happens if you're caught short and you're in a wheelchair or a mobility scooter?
Oh, top the harbour up.
Thank you. All right, Des, thanks for sharing that with us. It's the last day, by the way, of the 3 days, apparently, for the nuisance planning appeal. There's a lot of people have been asking about what's happening with the nuisance planning appeal. The 3 days finishes today, and apparently the ruling is going to be given not now, but at some point in the future. Nomination, by the way, for superior to most loos on the Isle of Man, the Mackled Village Public Conveniences, which are very well decorated, very well lit, lots of natural light as well. So thank you for that. The correspondent sent me 4 lovely photos of the Mackled loos. And again, whenever we talk about loos, it may appear flippant, but it's not. I mean, public toilets surely are a feature and a signal of civilized society. And thanks for the person who sent me the photo of Park Road School, where it used to be. There's a fine old building, Park Road, big site as well. And thanks for the photo that's also got the gargoyles. We're trying to track down the gargoyles, by the way. The best public toilets, Villa Marina Arcade, says Linda in Onken. Certainly very good looking. There are disabled loos just by the entrance of the Villa Arcade. Is that right? Whereabouts? You go left towards the Gaiety Theatre cut through. They must be opposite the restaurant. But thanks for that. We are trying to find this, and again, it's serious. We're trying to find the best public loos on the Isle of Man. We've lost lots of public loos, and certainly a lot on the promenade in Douglas. Just a quick word. I want to just whisper this in your ear, so you can't blame me if you don't. Income tax returns are due next week, the 6th of October. Is the deadline for the submission of personal income tax returns. Online, apparently, is the preferred method for the majority of residents. Apparently, more than 6 out of 10 people file their annual tax return using online services. Go to services.gov.im. You have to be registered for online tax services and also a wide range of benefits. You can actually submit and view your tax return online, get instant confirmation of a tax return submission, review assessments and balance. You can also make secure online payments. Woohoo! And have income tax refunds paid directly into your bank account. By the way, there is an instructional video. There always is. If you want to go through the process, if you go to the Isle of Man Government's YouTube channel, it will tell you how to submit your personal income tax online. So that's next week, the 6th of October. And please don't tell me that you've been nicked, because I've brought it up now. The best public loo, Kim says the public loos at Bride are the best on the Isle of Man, always clean. The ones in Peel, the laundrette side, are okay, but not great. But that's more down to thoughtless users. There's loo paper everywhere and a wet floor. We've been coming over every TT for the last 30 years, and they've improved a lot. My husband always says I should write a guide to the Isle of Man's loos. It will probably get published. Castletown could do with some better ones. Can't bear the one in Ramsey, which is like a submarine, but it's usually clean. But I'm always frightened I'll get locked in there. And Rob says that some of the best public toilets in Douglas have been closed or pulled down for decades with the promise of it being temporary. The corner of Bucks Road and Merton Bank and the Tongue are a prime example. We're campaigning. We're trying to find the best public loo on the Isle of Man, and we just wonder where some of them have gone and why they haven't been replaced.
At NFU Mutual in Douglas, we believe the best way to look after our customers is to be based close to them. And so, with an office at Key House on South Quay, our great service is always close to home. If you need car, home or business insurance, call in to see us at NFU Mutual for a friendly face-to-face chat. Call us on 674 191. That's 674 191. Or to visit our website, Google NFU Mutual Isle of Man.
Whatever your style, you'll find something stunning to enhance your home at Miller Chaps of Ramsey. From classic elegance to new trends in home design, Miller Chaps have 2 fabulous floors packed with fantastic new furniture, furnishings and homeware. Whether you're looking for fabrics and wallpapers, new flooring, a comfy sofa or unique artwork to complete your look, you'll find it at Miller Chaps, along with much more from their vast inspirational range. Find your style in store today at Miller Chaps of Ramsey.
Above deck or below, Harbour Marine Services has all your boating needs in one place. From engine sales and servicing to charts, books, dinghies and trailers, electronics, navigation, ropes, rigging and safety. Over 2,000 square feet of stock to help you stay safe on the water. Call 822 995 or find us on Facebook. For all your chandlery supplies, set your course to Harbour Marine Services, next to Castledown Harbour.
Step into Office World, the island's largest fully stocked stationery store, where there's over 5,000 items on display to take away. From pens, paper, inks and toners to general stationery, adhesives and batteries. You can get what you need right now from Office World, with all the big brands, including Pilot, Pentel, Sellotape, Duracell, Gorilla, Pucker Pads and more. Office World is conveniently located on Spring Valley Industrial Estate, with easy parking right outside the door.
Office World!
Get ready for another winning weekend on Manx Radio.
And this weekend you can win a set of motorbike tyres up to the value of £250 from H&H Motorcycles, the one-stop source for everything bike at hnhmotorcycles.im.
Visit manxradio.com and answer the competition question for your chance to win. You can enter as many times as you like.
Then make sure you're listening to Manx Radio Breakfast on Monday morning, when we'll be announcing the winner.
Make this your winning weekend with your nation station, Manx Radio.
The Mannin Line with Andy Wint.
Look at that time, it's 14 minutes before 1. Anne in Colby said, best loos opposite the old Safeways in Douglas, adjacent to the Strand Shopping Centre. By the way, are the ones in the Strand Shopping Centre actually open these days? The gargoyles are in storage at the new lower school, along with the namestones that were over the entrance of the Park Road School. I'm glad to hear that, because they were magnificent names. Also, weren't there some? There were girls and boys entrances to Old Park Road, so I'll be interested to see if they've kept them. Those are out-of-date lithium stats, says Peter on 051. A potentially huge deposit was recently found on the Oregon-Nevada border in 29-million-year-old caldera. Also, some BEVs recently launched by Stellantis Group have no rare earth materials in the battery at all, says Peter. Well, thank you, Peter. Obviously, business is going to navigate its way around the future, whether it's battery technology, whatever it's going to be. So there's lots and lots of lithium and other minerals. The mind boggles. I travelled from Port Erin to Ramsey in a bus 2.5 hours. No chance of a P-break in Douglas. The big bus terminal, says Texter 108. If they did build the loos, they'd end up costing £10 million. The project would run late and you wouldn't be able to flush them, says 108, who adds the note, I'm menopausal. Is that a genuine problem for menopausal women to have public loos? Or I suppose menopausal, prostatitis, it all comes under... Anyway, you get what I'm talking about. It is a genuine problem, 108. It's a genuine problem for the elderly or people with weak bladders. Government will do nothing as it doesn't directly affect them. There are disabled loos opposite the vaccine hub by the old ShopRite. You need a disabled radar key, which most chemists will give you. The same disabled loos are at Marks and Spencer. If I'm not mistaken, there are public loos opposite Marathon Terrace on the promenade as well. Are they free, Carol, to get in? There were 38 gents' toilets. David researched this. When I was a lad, there were 38 public gents' toilets in Douglas. Not as many now, I'm guessing. Not as many now. Again, disabled toilets in the M&S car park, and the Villa Marina has disabled loos as well. If you're a visitor, would you know that, I wonder? There were once underground loos on the prom, weren't there? Said Nick. Didn't they get turned into an Irish pumping station? Or am I getting that wrong? Where were the subterranean loos? There are 3 or 4 disabled toilets along the prom, says C. I write this text as a concerned farmer. In 40 years, I've never seen this in such a mess. If you go back to COVID, local food was wanted, but now apparently nobody seems bothered. DEFRA are interested in the environment, but we need to eat, and we can't eat trees. Sad news, wasn't it, about Moore's kippy yard going? And Shaw's Brow has got disabled loos as well, says this correspondent. We're getting on a roll here with toilets, if you pardon the expression. A few of the old sandstone signs are in place at the old Park Road site, says correspondent 692. And also, just letting you know, the old TT scoreboard is in a big warehouse opposite Ronaldsway. What sort of state is the old TT scoreboard in, I wonder? Thanks also to Emma, who just said paying for public toilets at the point of use is actually unfair, but politically discriminating for women who can't knit behind a tree or hide down an alley. Instead, we don't have much choice, but women have to pay. The majority of parents looking after babies are the mothers who use facilities within these toilets too. I couldn't use a public loo once as I didn't have my card and I had no money on me. It was very painful. Toilets surely should be free. Surely toilets are a basic right. We seem to be going backwards in thinking to when women couldn't venture far from the home as there were no toilets at all. Now we face an extra toilet tax on top of everything else. Serious point. I'm not a woman, you probably gathered, but women cannot do what men can do. So surely that's discriminatory against women. Howard's on. Where were the underground toilets, Howard?
As far as I can remember, the ones that we always knew were over by the sea terminal end, and it's where that cafe and various bits and pieces are, opposite what used to be the Villiers Hotel. And it was referred when I was only a teenager, etc., as the Bear Pit. Why, I don't know.
When did they go?
I think it was when the Irish system was built, because the two large tanks built under the promenade walkway. Because I don't know if you remember, but Rick Wakeman said that would make a brilliant recording studio, the big one, because of the acoustics. Of course, it was before it was in operation, but there are two very large tanks there. But I don't know if those toilets are still there or not, or they key only now.
Right.
But just as people of my age will remember, as you walk up Well Road Hill past Markwell House, right at the top on Finch Road, there used to be a wrought iron, cast iron urinal set on the just off the pavement, and where you come along to turn on the North Quay, you turn to go on the Stonebridge, just down where the yacht park is now, there was another cast iron urinal painted green.
I wonder what happened to that.
Well, they've both long since gone, but whether they went in as scrap metal, I don't know. But I know them, and of course, nowadays they say that was discrimination because it was gents only. But the urinals were there anyway, I can remember them. But that toilet in the Villa Marina Arcade is noted for its, Art Deco.
Yeah.
And always was. And there was a hairdresser down there, Dobson's the hairdressers, and everybody went into the hairdressers, they invariably went into the toilets. But one of the reasons, and if you look it up, a lot of the toilets, and this is an unfortunate circumstance, were taken down, removed, because of homosexual laws, and they were being used for, well, if you look it up in Google,
yeah. Okay. All right, Howard.
A lot of them were taken down for that reason.
All right, thanks for that. Actually, I got a note in from Sheila who just says, part of the problem is, and this is Sheila's words, perverts and vandals are a lot of the reasons that public toilets disappear. So how do we get... a public toilet surely is as Douglas is a city, it's got a cathedral now, or a co-cathedral, so surely better public loos. We're trying to find the best public loo on the Isle of Man. Not flippant, but genuine. Peter's on now. Hi, Peter.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm just wondering what's going to happen to the likes of the steam railway, the electric railway, the TT, the rallying, the Mass Grand Prix, Southern 100, when this climate changes are supposed to be happening with the new renewables and everything. Are we still going to have a steam railway? Are we still going to have a TT? Or are we not?
Well, I think what they're talking about is carbon offsets. So you buy carbon credits, and so you if you like, recompense for your carbon footprint. They've got to work out a carbon footprint for what happens. And I'm sure, steam railways happen here, there and everywhere. So I'm sure there's some low sodium coal or low sulfur coal that they can use, but we're safe for the moment anyway, Peter.
I don't think anything's safe at the moment with all these clowns going on about climate change and all the rest of it. It's gone on throughout history. The only people that are making anything about this is the big companies taking the money and multi-billionaires. You've just got to follow the money. do some research on the old internet, and you'll find out who's behind all this lot and who's making the money.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Peter. Good to hear from you. It has yet some disadvantages to be worked on. Sodium salt, says Richie, is very easily sourced, and it's a rival to lithium for making powerful batteries. Sodium. Regarding opposite the old Safeways, again, everybody's going for that loo opposite the old Safeways. The Royal in Port Erin had fantastic toilets, and the Castletown Square had underground loos. Ballaugh and Kirkmichael villages have lovely toilets, says Texter 450. Is the Chester Street loo open? Says this texter as well. 2 more contenders for toilet title would be the 2 facilities at each end of Port Erin Promenade. Both are always clean and very well lit. Never thought we'd be talking. But anyway, on Monday, tomorrow's an open line, but Monday, Julie Edge is in. Julie Edge MHK, one of the Onken MHKs, will be in. Education, Sport and Culture Minister, so we'll be talking about schools, culture on the Isle of Man, and sport as well. May get round, because everybody's telling me about the leaky roof at the bowl. Thank you for that. And also, here's a note in from Wayne in Ballasalla, who says, you're saying Vangelis is the answer with albedo 0.39. I think Jim Steinman's got the answer. The third single from Bat Out of Hell said, objects in the rear view mirror may appear closer than they are. I'll work it out, Wayne. Thank you.
WINT. When the Mannin Line's not on air, call Manx Radio to leave your opinion for broadcast on 682 631.